I'm starting the live.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Excuse me, music?
Silence.
Looks like everybody's there. Is Lucy there?
Yes, I'm here.
I saw her. Yep.
I see everybody but her on the camera, but that's all right.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes. And, so Lucy, if there's any type of technical difficulty, have all the things there and, you may have to pick up the ball, but I'm hoping I can do it from here, but just be prepared otherwise.
Sounds good.
Is she coming through the album?
All right, well, let's,
Yes.
I believe I'm going to get this shindig on the road here. I'm going to call the notice of the City Council of the City of Nassau Bay that is posted and pursuant to the Texas Open Meeting Act. Notice is hereby given that the City Council of Nassau Bay, Texas will conduct a special meeting on August 28th, 2023 at 6 p.m. on the council's chambers at City Hall, 1800 Space Park Drive, Suite 200, Nassau Bay, Texas. I just did the call to order. It looks like a roll call. We have all members present with Paula Tomasi and myself, Phil Johnson, coming in digitally. I'm going to dispense with the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. I will ask, are there any citizens' comments, anything for us to discuss?
Mayor, we have no citizens in the audience.
Then, yeah, I can't see that, so thank you, Zena. Then I'm going to call the citizens' comment and public hearing to an end. So moving on into the agenda is any councilman comments, anything at all?
Yes.
Yeah, for anybody watching, I know there's no students in the audience, but if anybody's asking you to paint your curb, you don't have to do that. I am currently working on that through the Parks Committee, so we're working through Queens Court right now. We'll be making our way through the city throughout the foreseeable future, but if you don't want to pay for it, you don't have to. We'll be working on that through the city. Thanks.
And there's also a special events committee at 6 p.m. on Wednesday.
And I would like to just for everyone, if they are unaware of it, John Halgan was in the hospital. He had emergency surgery for gallbladder, and he's doing better. But I wanted to send our condolences and make sure he gets well very soon with that. And then as of Friday afternoon around 12:30, City of Nassau Bay now will be carrying Narcan. So we had a special delivery. Delivered some Narcan to the Nassau Bay Police Department. So they will be carrying that with them, I believe, once the coolers come in, as stated by the chief. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Evans.
Any other comments, any other considerations? The only one I have is actually for council is you're probably seeing some emails from the cybersecurity training. If you haven't done it, you'll be getting that. I know I'm delinquent, so I'm going to be doing it as annual. I have done it in the past, but it is something that we have to do annually. So I just want to make sure that's for those who haven't done it to make sure to put that on the agenda or put that on the things to complete.
Mr. Mayor, real quick, again, on that point, just a heads up that I had to do it on my mobile phone. I couldn't do it on the desktop. So if anybody runs into any problems with that, you might have to just do it on your telephone. It's very simple to do.
I did mine on my laptop today. Worked fine.
Yeah, that works. But I just want to remind everybody just to we need to get that done. And then with that, I'll close the council member comments and move on to the new business, which is the discussion presentation of the proposed 23-24 budget. By me, I believe this makes it your evening.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, citizens. Okay, so, for the upcoming fiscal year, city council priorities are as follows. Their focus has been on renewed infrastructure. So continue to focus attention on infrastructure that needs replacement or upgrades. And public safety, continue to make the necessary investments to create a safe and peaceful community. And these priorities are in alignment with the city's comprehensive plan. So if you can bear with me, these are a lot of projects. So, council has proposed the following projects to address these two priorities. And these projects are funded in the proposed FY 23-24 budget. So beginning with renewed infrastructure, the first two items are projects that are being funded out of the general fund. So we have additional concrete to finalize the D-Work project. That will be funded out of excess reserves. Fiscal year 24 funding is $20,000. We're also going to set aside funding from the excess reserve to replace the city hall HVAC unit. Projected replacement date for the current unit is FY 2030. The funding for FY 24 is $42,000, and the total project cost is $250,000. So the next few projects for infrastructure will be out of the water sewer fund. The first one is we'll set aside funding from the extra reserves to replace the forced sewer main line. Funding will occur over 4 years, and replacement work will occur in phases. Total FY 24 funding is $300,000, and the total project cost is $1 million. The next project is we'll be spending the COVID funds this year to replace water lines on Nassau Parkway between Upper Bay Road and Lakeside Lane, and also on Point Lookout Drive. Total FY 24 funding for this project is $986,000. The next project. So based off the FY 24-29 forecast, we're projecting excess reserves will be approximately $6 million at the end of FY 29. As a result of the fund's strong position, council is considering issuing a $3.8 million 10-year certificate of obligation to fund two significant infrastructure projects. The 3.8 funding source, along with the associated infrastructure projects, are not in the budget as of right now. We have to wait until the issuance is approved. So once that is approved, we'll amend the budget and add the funding along with the associated projects. And those projects will be the Southeast Transmission Line. The line is used to transmit water from the Southeast Water Purification Plant to the city. Total FY 24 funding is $1.5 million, and the remaining project cost for the Southeast Transmission Line is $1.5 million. And we'll begin phase 2 of the water distribution line replacement project. Phase 2 will replace 20,000 linear feet of distribution lines, which is approximately 4 miles over a 3-year span. Total FY 24 funding is $770,000, and the total project cost is $2.3 million. The next two projects will be funded out of the Capital Projects Fund. So we'll spend the remaining 2021 certificate of obligation funds on the following projects. They're all related to stormwater, the SCADA. The funding will be $36,000 for the upcoming fiscal year. Stormwater line improvements, that's $250,000, and the stormwater backup power, which is $271,000. The next project out of the Capital Projects Fund is painting the exterior fire EMS station garage doors. And the funding source will be the facilities account, and the FY 24 funding is $8,000. And the last project for infrastructure is street maintenance sales tax fund. We'll continue to replace or upgrade our streets, and we have $350,000 funding for replacing or upgrading our existing streets. So as of right now, the infrastructure projects that are funded in the budget is $2.3 million. The projects that will be funded by the COs is $2.3 million. So total infrastructure projects is $4.6 million. So the next priority, the next council priority is investing in public safety. So the following projects are funded in the budget. So the first 4 lines are out of the general fund. We'll be replacing the phone callers on the public safety boat. That'll be, the funding source will be excess reserves. Total funding for the fiscal year is 40,000. The implementation of the block system, and that includes the first year maintenance subscription. Funding source, excess reserve. Total funding, 50,000. Replace the handheld radios, 12 of them. Funding source, excess reserve. And the replacement of all radios will be a multi-year effort. Total funding 75,000. And the next item out of the general fund is set aside funding for a youth ladder fire truck. Funding source will be property taxes. Funding will occur over 4 years and will require issuance of debt in FY 27. So FY 24 funding for this project is 300,000. And total cost of the ladder fire truck is 2.2 million. The next 4 projects, the next 5 projects are the capital projects fund. And all these were funded from excess reserves, along with the fleet sales proceeds and interest revenue. So we have replaced 10 mobile data terminals, MDTs, year 1 of the lease payment, that's $6,200. Replaced unit E82 thermal imager, that's $10,000. Paid year 3 of 5 for the action body cameras, that's $42,000. And replaced unit 4 PD interceptor, that's $75,000. And the last project for public safety is the ambulance, which will be funded out of the certificate of obligation, at $285,000. So total investments in public safety is $883,000. So why invest in these priorities? Several things. First is the protection of the city's fire ISO rating, also Insurance Services Office. The rating, the score is determined by using the fire suppression rating schedule, which evaluates the department's emergency communication systems, personnel capabilities, training, equipment, water system, supply and pressure, and community risk reduction. Ratings are assigned between 1 and 10, with lower numbers indicating a better rating. High ISO ratings can increase home insurance rates in the community, and the ISO score scale is from 0 to 105. So currently, the city's fire ISO score in 2023 was 80.91. That's a rating of 2. In 2013, the city's ISO score was 86.64. The decrease in the city's score was caused by water system pressure and not having a ladder truck. If the city's ISO score drops below an 80, then the rating will increase to a 3, resulting in higher insurance premiums for the community. The next ISO.
Can I interrupt? I think
Yes.
I'm told by somebody that's watching this live stream that the slides are not progressing.
Okay, I thought so. I'm trying to figure out.
Okay, I just wanted to let everybody know.
I went to my own copy.
I have mine on my cell phone. If that
Yeah,
helps anybody.
not, we've been given it though, Paula, other people may not, so.
Yes. Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm.
Lacey, whatever you're doing now is working.
Okay.
It's fixed. Everything's good.
All right, so the next ISO audit will occur in 10 years, so it's critical to begin making these investments now in our infrastructure and public safety to protect and strengthen our ISO rating. The next item is we need to lock in the $2.2 million price for the for the ladder truck. In addition, the lead time for the ladder truck is 32 to 52 months. In 2020, the quote for the ladder truck was $1.4 million. So in 3 years, the price increased by 57%. So to protect us against significant price increases and extended lead times, it's critical to order the ladder truck soon. And the last reason is, over the last several years, the city has replaced 21,000 of linear feet of new water lines. The new lines have withstood the extreme heat that the older lines are breaking, resulting in more frequent and severe water leaks. So this summer has reminded us that phase 2 of the water distribution line project cannot wait.
Let me interrupt you there a little bit, Jaime.
Yes, go ahead.
There's one other reason in, for the ISO, the insurance services office that actually is used by insurance companies to calculate insurance rates, which going from a rating of 2 and going backwards to a rating of 3 is I've even heard, and I know Tom put out a number, but I've heard it's estimated at about $300,000 for the average price of a Nassau Bay home. So that's that would increase the insurance rates for everybody across the whole city.
Will be funded, missed this earlier, but I'll go ahead and do a recap. So, there will be funds from our excess reserves. 226,000 out of our general fund, 300,000 of our water sewer, and 58,000 of our capital projects. COVID funds, 986,000. The facilities account, 8,000. The fleet sale proceeds account and interest revenue, 75,000. The 2021 certificates of obligation, 842,000. Sales tax, 350,000 for the street sales tax fund, and property taxes, the additional 300,000 for the fire ladder truck. So in addition, we'll have the 2.2. So for the 2024 certificates of obligation, the let me see here. Okay, so the 2.2 that will be funding this year, the certificate of obligations. So in addition, so in order to service the 10-year certificate of obligation and to offset the 20% increase for cost of water, the city will move forward to FY 2025 rates, water sewer rates, to FY 24. So all the items highlighted in yellow. So those rates that are in 2025 will be implemented in 2024. The rates in 2026 will be implemented in 2025, and the rates in 2027 will be implemented in 2026. In addition, the base rate fee for multifamily, the current 2024 rate is $14. That will be increased to $16, and then going forward will be $17 from 2025 to 2027. And then the commercial water rate, the current 2024 rate is $12.16. That will be increased to $14.59, and that will be held steady through 2027. And the wastewater, same thing. The rates in 2025, that will go to 2024. Same for 26, same for 26 and 27. So by making these changes, we will generate an additional $905,000 in revenue.
Looks good, Jaime.
Okay. So budget overview. So total budget by funds. So the proposed budget is 15.9 million. Our two largest funds are the general fund at 6.7 million and the water and sewer fund at 42 million. The largest source of the revenue in our budget is property taxes at 4.4 million, 28% of our revenue. Utility fees, which is the water and sewer, that's 3.9 million, that's 25%. And grants is at 1.5, which is 9%. The grants to COVID, along with the FEMA elevation grant. And then you have then sales tax, and then hotel occupancy tax, franchise fees, EMS fees, lease revenue, and building and code enforcement fees. So these revenue items make up 83% of our total revenue. The other revenue is 17%, that consists primarily of municipal court, transfer from other funds, interest revenue, special revenue, and miscellaneous revenue. So our headcount. So all the items highlighted in yellow, that represents changes that occurred in those areas. So we'll begin up at the top for general administrative. There's a decrease in full-time headcount, and that headcount got moved over to part-time. Building, we have a decrease in headcount. The building official position, that will be outsourced. Public Works and Parks, their total headcount remained the same, but they had a change between Public Works and Parks. Public Works is now gonna have 10.5 employees, and Parks is gonna have 3. Municipal Court, we had a headcount reduction for hourly. That's for the judge. She will be moved over to contract services. And code enforcement, we added a headcount for code enforcement. So as of right now, we have budgeted 115,000 hours, which is the equivalent of 55 employees. Expenditure. So as of right now, for the FY 24 budget compared to the FY 23 budget, we have an increase of 2%. And this increase, so this increase captures the following. So in this budget for personnel, we have a 4% merit. So all departments except EMS will qualify for merit, and that will be based on employee performance. And that merit only applies to headcounts that have been here for a year. Any newer headcounts do not qualify for the merit. The billing official will be handled by a contractor. So the payroll benefits, that decreases 111,000. Code enforcement officer, we added a headcount. Payroll benefits increased by 105,000. And then on the administration side, what headcount converted to a part-time position. So now so that position is now 1,872 hours versus the 2080. So for that specific position, payroll benefits decreased by 25,000. So for the general fund, maintenance and operations. So this comparison excludes personnel, transfers out, and one-time expenditures. So for maintenance operations for the general fund, the FY 24 budget versus the FY 23 budget increased 3.95%. And this budget includes a new jail contract, 20,000, includes a record management, the inventory destruction of off-site storage of 22,000, includes the additional IT support of 50,000. And the next page for the water sewer fund, again, this comparison excludes transfers out, personal expenditures, capital expenditures, depreciation, and debt. So it's getting a little pricier to operate the water sewer fund. The FY 24 budget compared to the FY 23 has increased by 11%. So our general fund budget reserves for FY 24. So to operate the city on a daily basis, it costs about 17,700. So we're projecting our revenues to be $6.7 million. Our expenditures are 6.7. We remove the one-time capital of 234,000. So that gives us a projected fund balance of 2 million. So that is a total reserves of 113 days. And those 113 days, 300,000 of that is the ladder truck, or emergency use only. And then after we back out the ladder truck, we have 106,000 in excess reserve. That gives us, so we have 23 total day excess reserves. You back out the ladder truck, that gives us six excess days of reserve. Then moving on to the water sewer. So the water sewer, it takes about $7,800 to operate the water sewer fund. We're projecting $5 million in revenues, 4.2 in expenditures. That'll leave us with a projected balance of 1.7 million. Our 45-day reserve, which is recommended by the GFOA, is 353,000. And we also have a restricted reserve for the debt service of another 318,000 or so. So this leaves us excess reserve of 1,081,000. So total number of days of reserves is $223, but the total number of days of excess reserves is 138 days. And then what's coming up next, on September 6th, we plan to have another budget workshop. September 11th, we'll have a public hearing. Hopefully we'll adopt the budget and we'll present all truth and taxation items at that meeting. And then on September 25th, we'll have a public hearing and adopt the tax rate. That's all. Are there any questions?
Can you remind me of the status of the tax roll for Harris County? Are we final now, or are we still waiting for final?
We're still waiting on certified values, so I'm hoping this week.
Hi, can you explain, just for people watching, what that means in regards to the being a draft?
Yes, so as of July, we received the estimated values. But there's still quite a bit of property that hasn't been certified, so the values are moving quite a bit. So we decided to wait for the certified values to have more concrete numbers to do our tax rate setting policy.
Thanks, Tanya. I do have a couple of questions. One was, I thought you said that you took anything that was like maintenance for the streets and moved it out of the budget into the street fund.
I did.
And there was 300,000 left over, it's originally slated for the parks, but then you said you were gonna have it undesignated. Is that here?
That is correct. This budget has, so there's two budgets here involved. The capital projects fund has the certificate of 2021 obligation money. So the 300,000 is now undesignated.
Okay.
So the street sales tax fund, that 350,000, that's just funds that we've accumulated for the current year's sales tax.
Okay, great. I did mention originally that we wanted to try to repair the basketball court. I don't think it's gonna cost $300,000, but that's something I guess that you guys could consider, you know, if when we get into it a little bit later on. So that was my one question. The second question is that this 5 million in revenue for the water fund, is that including like the totals from August, or do you not have that yet? Like the
No,
income
it
from-
isn't
It doesn't. So
Not yet.
is that gonna be modified at all before we finalize this budget or not yet?
yes.
So it will be. Okay,
Yes.
so we might have some more income. You just don't know yet, right?
Yeah, so all the FY23 numbers.
I would expect that, Michelle. I mean, the one comment I was going to illustrate here is with the capital funding in the water and sewer fund. Remember, we look very strong with 100 and some days of excess reserves, but we spend over the next 2 years to where in 2026, we are right there, potentially even dipping into reserves until the next year. We're trying to target that so we don't do that. And, you know, I'm saying this in context that you're right. I believe we're going to see quite a bit more revenue with this, just simply this hot spells consuming record amounts of water everywhere. So that's, but I do want to give visibility to, you know, even though we're very strong now, the budgeted projects that we're going to do are going to test those reserves in 2026.
So I know I have one more question. I'm sorry. I did want to talk a little bit about grants and the fire truck in general. After the last meeting, somebody alerted me that FEMA gives out these grants for fire trucks. I believe I sent it to Zena. And I know we can't put that money in the budget because it's not final right now, but do we have any kind of like prerogative? Because last year we asked for, you know, to look into some grants. I know this year Lucy has brought forward and James has brought forward some ideas for grants. Do we have to put anything in there that we want to look for that? Just so that way we have it as a place marker, or what's your feeling on that, Lena?
No, well, they'll apply for grants as they come available, and if we get them, if there's a match, then of course we'd have a budget amendment if we have to do a match. But right now,
I just mean putting it in there as a priorities if we have priorities.
and the team is working on grants. So,
Excuse me?
the team is working on grants. So
I meant like Lucy had a person that she talked about, a consultant that we could bring in that would get paid from the grants actually being awarded. It's not listed as an employee because we're not paying them, but do we have that like somewhere?
yeah,
Because
well,
we did the same thing last year, we didn't really have any agreements, and I'm wondering if we could somehow make that a priority to bring in this consultant that was.
So Michelle, I think staff is already working to have at the September 11th council meeting, the consultant to kind of review a little bit of that. I don't know if it's actually, if he or she, it's a he, if I remember, will be, is available, but that request has been made to have a formal council meeting agenda to go over just what you said, so it goes on the record.
Okay, yes, that'd be great, thank you.
you have a consultant, right?
Michael, yes.
He's a consultant for,
Gail, yeah.
Yeah, Michael.
Gail.
right, and I also know someone, the council member, Abby, does too, that we met that has done grants.
The key thing here is if we get these grants on these distinct projects, the grant writing in order to do that can be, part of the grant itself. So we can do a success fee on these grant writers. So whether we have 1 or 5, more the merrier, as long as it's on a success fee. And I think that's a great approach if we can get it up off the ground.
Yeah, even not just, if it doesn't, all happen in this next budget period, at least we're starting to prepare for the next one. And I know like with the Key now, so a beautiful, slate that we have that we're able to have access to other grants for the waterways and things like that. And so I'd really like to make sure that that's like a priority, that we have these consultants engaged as they work. Like we asked for it last time and didn't get it, so I'd really like to have that in here.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Mayor, if I can, just for clarity's sake, it's not necessarily a success fee, it's a eat what you kill. So the overhead, you're able to actually bundle in the cost of that consultant into the overhead. That's how they're put together like that. So it isn't quite necessarily a success fee. If I can make a request, please circulate before the September 11th meeting, I guess, grants that we are going to go look at, or we're thinking of looking at, so that we can review them.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
And I know there's some playground grants in there too, if that's a possibility.
Anything else related to the budget?
Yeah, but Harley, with the building and code enforcement fees, would you say that revenue that we're getting from that is a fairly conservative projection, or how would you say that 279 looks?
At 279?
Yeah.
Well, I guess it just depends on implementation. If the implementation goes well, the amount of businesses that we do have here, then it is a reasonable number. It just all depends on implementation and get the program off the ground.
Okay. Or with the projection of the 279, would you say that's relatively achievable based off of the infrastructure that we've got in place? Or would you say that is kind of pie in the sky kind of thing, or is it conservative?
I would say for this fiscal year, it's fine. And then next year, depending on how everything goes with the implementation and, then, because we have quite a few businesses here in the city. So it could go higher. It just depends on the implementation and how that process goes.
So, that was a good question, Councilman. We talked in the last meeting that you would kind of wait $60,000. Did we do that like a separate line item in the budget?
Yes.
Okay.
Just
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Any other comments?
Great job.
Great job.
Yeah, let me make a comment of that. This is, I think the first time we've had a budget presentation that on what's more likely going to become our final budget in this time frame, and in a presentation that in 20 minutes any citizen can read and have total transparency and understanding for anything that they want to question, anything that they want to query, support, disagree with. It is a presentation that I believe has just been fantastically displayed for visibility. And I really appreciate the work you've done on this. I know the hours you've put in, and I wouldn't want you to think that we don't appreciate it. And quite honestly, the citizens, even I always encourage people, good or bad, to bring comments. And when you have real data that people can get their hands around like this, data really helps in the discussion and it brings people together. So thank you for that.
Excellent work.
And staff would also thank Mayor and Council for all their guidance during the budget process. We really appreciate it. And again, the team has done a wonderful job in assisting in the preparation and helping Jaime with all his information, putting it together, and they've done a phenomenal job.
Yeah, congratulations. Team members.
Anything else?
Nope.
Then I believe I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I hear a motion by James, seconded by Chase. Any other comments before I call the vote? I'm calling the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
I believe that's 7-0, even though I can't see everybody. If it could confirm, I see Paul is in mine, so I need to know if there's 5 up there. I know the answer. It passes 7-0. We're adjourned, and thank you, everybody. Really appreciate it. And everybody on the staff, everything. This is record speed that we're doing. And this is a complex budget, so I really appreciate what everybody's doing.
Thanks, Mayor.
Phenomenal job.
All right.
Thanks,
Thanks, everybody.
Brandon?
Yep.
Thank you. Bye.